everything is then a cult. That's what my brain says. Because okay, so let me tell you why.
So
I'm saying, as you're explaining it,
cult comes from
Yes,
culture.
yes.
So we have culture. We need culture.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm
Go
saying
for it.
both on my behalf and someone who's listening to this.
Yep.
All right. I start with, like, let's say a family. A family can say, we are the Johnsons. You are a Johnson, I am a Johnson. And in the Johnson family, we always have dinner at 7 p.m. And at the Johnson household, we go for walks on Saturdays. And you know what I mean? And if you don't like
Totally.
it, you can leave. But if you leave this house,
cut you out.
Totally.
we will cut you off from the Johnsons and you are no longer a
shunned.
Johnson.
No one will be allowed to
and
call
you
you.
will never walk into this
That's
house
not
ever.
a healthy family.
Okay, but that's...
So if you have the influence continuum chart, folks, please go download it so you have it in front of you and you can understand this. Healthy parenting recognizes that each child is a unique being, and healthy parenting is to help that unique being grow up to adulthood to become their best self. It's developmentally appropriate. It's not too micromanaging. It's not being too permissive. It's giving challenges. It's not constant praise. It's rewarding effort.
And it's also not setting them up for failure.
And not
To
setting
prove
them
yourself
up.
right.
Correct.
That's an addiction of some parents.
So we know models of excellence for healthy attachment. Like you need to keep babies off of screens for the first 3 years. This is well established neuroscientifically, not even TV screens, no iPads, no phones, because the baby's brain is
malleable.
Yes, and it's pruning neurons, and it needs to smell mommy and daddy, and needs to feel our heartbeat, hear our voice, reading books to the child, etc. This helps the child to feel loved and to feel safe and secure. Healthy attachment is the key to avoiding all personality disorders. Unhealthy families are authoritarian. They want the kids to be obedient. They often do corporal punishment, which is illegal in most civilized countries, except here. But beating children is traumatic to the brain. It does not encourage children to think differently and act differently, etc. And often kids who are gay, if they're in a homophobic church or something, are kicked out, and then they're picked up by pimps or traffickers or somebody else on the street, and more trauma happens. So when you say, Steve, some families are authoritarian cults, I'm like, yes.
Yeah, no, but that's what I mean by everything is a. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm saying
I wasn't beaten as a child. I honestly, I had a very
That's
unusual,
why you went off on a weekend doing nonsense things, Steve. You see, when Steve, if you were in my house, you would have. Hey, when Steve, where you going? Uti, Schwinn, Uti, we can. Hey, Steve. Yeah, cult. You'll see your cult.
But when you grow up with an authoritarian, you're going to be attracted to an authoritarian cult.
It's exactly,
because it's familiar.
That's the thing, the familiarity of control.
One of the social psychology experiments I teach my clients and the public, there are 3.
Yeah.
Asch conformity study, Milgram obedience study, and Zimbardo prison study.
Okay.
Any of those sound familiar?
No.
Asch was a social psychologist in the 50s. Very briefly, he did an experiment. He called it a social perception experiment. He had the person at the front of the room, people in a ring. They'd show a sample size line, let's say 3 inches long, 3-inch line. They have 3 sample lines, 3, 4, and 5 inches. They had everybody in the room say which of the 3 was the same size as the sample line. Okay. They did it correctly twice. And then all of the people who were in on the experiment started confidently giving the wrong answer. But the person in seat 6 was then like,
actually,
a 2-inch line is equal to a 3-inch line? No. And they disagreed. But 2/3 start giving the wrong answer just to fit in to the social conformity.
See,
no one gets up to measure. That's what I teach. It's like, if you really want to know, look for an objective way to measure what's going on.
But you see now that for me taps into one of the greatest conundrums in society. And that is, for most of society to function, we have to agree on things that aren't real, or rather realities that are imagined so that we can function together, right?
Mm-hmm. We have to trust.
Like a traffic light is a society agreeing on something that is not real.
Mm-hmm.
We go, the red light stops us. It doesn't stop us, but we all agree that we will stop.
It's the rule that we've agreed to.
Yeah, but we all have to sort of imagine that the thing has happened or hasn't happened, or, you know, the way people go quiet in certain spaces. We all agree to be quiet in the space, or we all... So it's like, it's a weird thing because it feels like we need to be able to do this as humans so that we can form societies. But now you're saying we also have to be careful of when we do it, because then the society we form is a cult.
So I believe cults exist from the ethical to the unethical. So I make a distinction, because there are cult classic. I joke I'm in the TEDx cult because I've done 4 TEDx talks. And I love to watch them. I love to learn. I love to have fascinating input in my brain, or scuba diving. I'm passionate about scuba diving. And it's great. It's expensive. I have to buy equipment, et cetera, but it's my choice, and nobody's forcing me or guilt tripping me that I'm a bad person.
But how do you know that nobody's forcing you or guilt tripping you?
Because I know my experience, and that's where it comes down to trusting your ability. But I mean this.
I genuinely don't mean this facetiously. I mean, like, many people who are in cults go, no, I'm not forced to be there. Their families will say...
I didn't think I was forced
So that's what I mean.
Moonies.
So that's what I'm saying is, like, now it becomes this weird world where you're saying, I love scuba diving. Now, I don't think scuba diving is a cult, but I'm saying we don't think we're in a cult when we're in a cult, and we don't think we're not in a cult when we're not in a cult. So then when are we in a cult and when are we not in a cult?
So now you're tapping into another very important point. I knew you were going to ask some good questions.